Right, this is chapter 5.3 homework help. For the first two, we're going to get started by finding the unit rate. For the first one, I have 486 games every 3 seasons. For unit rate, we're trying to find it when I have 1 season. In order to do that, I'm going to divide this by 3. 486 divided by 3 will end up being 162 games. This is my unit rate right there. For number 4, I see 3.75 pints out of every 5 gallons. My unit rate is I'm going to look per 1 gallon, so I need to divide by 5. 3.75 divided by 5 gets us 0.75 pints. All right, 5, 6, and 7, we're just looking at integers, whether they are negative and positive, and adding them or subtracting them. For this first one, I see negative 28, positive 15. Those two are opposites, so essentially what happens is we subtract, and I'm left with 13. 28 was negative, and that's the bigger number, so my answer is negative 13. Both of these are negative, so these are going to combine together. 6 plus 11 is 17, and we're going to keep it negative. Number 8, this is a karate math chop chop. I now have negative 17 plus positive 14. Those two don't like each other, they're going to subtract. And I'm left with 3. 17 was the bigger one, so this is a negative 3. 10 and 12 go back a couple chapters here to chapter 4. Where we are going to solve for x. For this one, it's attached, so I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. And I'm left with x is equal to 9. For this one, I see x is in a fraction over 4, so we're going to multiply both sides by 4. That's going to leave me with x on this side. 35 times 4 is 140. All right, the next 5 here, we're telling if these ratios form a proportion. Remember, there's a couple different methods we can choose. Just depends on which one you like more. So I'm going to set both of these up as ratios. All right, 1 to 3, and then 7 to 21. For me, I look at this. This is clearly times, not 3, times 7. Up top is also times 7. Since those two match, we would say that this is a yes. 3 to 4, and then 24 over 18. I know that 3 times 8 is 24, but 4 times 8 is 32, and 32 is not equal to 18, so number 18 would be a no. Next one up, 24 to 30, and then I've got 3, and then 7.5. For me, I see that 24 divided by 8 is 3. So if this works out, 30 divided by 8 should be 7 halves. I have 30 over 1 divided by 8 over 1, which turns into 30 over 1 times 1 over 8. Right, I can simplify this to 15 and 4, and that's really all I can do there. Notice 15 over 4 is not equal to 7 halves, so this would be also a no. Number 22. I have 0.6 over 0.5 being equal to 12 over 10. This right here, 5 times 2 is 10, but since I have 0.5, this is really just times 20. 0.6 times 20 is 12, so this would be a yes. Okay. 5/8 to 2/3. And then I'm looking to see, is this equal to 1/4 over 1/3? Well, for me, I see that this is dividing by 2. 2/3 divided by 2 is 1/3. So if I divide this by 2, I should get 1/4. 5/8 divided by 2 over 1 turns into 5/8 times 2 over 1, or not 2 over 1, 1 over 2. I can't do any simplifying. I get 5/16. These two are not the same. This would be a no. All right, next one here, we've got number 26 and 28, and we're going to look at a table and see if we can figure out, are these two proportional? Remember, there's a lot of different ways we could tell. For me, I automatically see, hey, look at this. This is +5, +5. So up here, I should have the same thing except with 2's. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2, or 4 plus 2 is 6, so that works out. Also, if we were trying to get to the point 0, 0, -5 would work. -2 also works, so this would be a yes. You could also say, hey, this is times 2, times 3, times 2, times 3. Whole bunch of different ways. All right. For this one, we are going to look at each of these, and I'm actually going to go like this. We're going to go invariant, right? This is times 3/5. 1 times 3/5 is 3/5. So if this works out, each of these should go to be multiplied by 3/5. 4/3 times 3/5. Right, these two can cancel each other out, and I'm left with 4/5. But notice I was looking for 1/2. The second I find one that doesn't work, I can say no, these are not proportional. You could have tried it with the first two as well. You'll still see that it does not work. Okay, last couple here. First of all, 29 and 30 says it gives you what your friend did to see are they proportional, and if so, we need to determine the reasoning. Okay, for 29, this is a great one where we can extend back to 0, and if I don't get the point 0, 0, this is not proportional. This is -1, this is -1, this is -1. Notice also they're subtracting up here, so 8 minus 1 is 7, 7 minus 1 is 6, 6 minus 1 is 5. I get the point 50, which is not 0, 0. So this would be a no. And your reasoning would be doesn't go back to 0, 0. All right. For this one, they said the values of the ratio. So they're looking at the invariant relationship of each of these. All right. And it looks like that 2/6 and 4/12 do match up. So those two work, but we got to just make sure we check 8 over 18. If I were to simplify this, I can divide both of them by 2. But I can't go any further than that. So actually, the first two do work out, but this is where we got to make sure we check them all. 8 over 18 is 4/9, which is not equal to 1/3. So we would say no. Okay. Lastly, number 38 says you earned $56 for walking your neighbor's dog for 8 hours, and my friend earns $36 for painting a neighbor's fence in 4 hours. Are the pay rates equivalent? All right. Pay rates typically we see in dollars per hour. Right? When you think about minimum wage, a lot of states have gone to $15 an hour. Notice we're trying to compare to 1 hour. So we're going to take each of these ratios that we have, and we're going to try and find its unit rate in dollars per hour. 8 divided by 8 is 1, so we need to divide this side by 8. 56 divided by 8 is $7. So that is you. Your friend is at $36 in 4 hours. And again, we're looking for how many in 1 hour to check the pay rates. I see that 4 divided by 4 is 1, so we need to divide this by 4. 36 divided by 4 is $9 an hour. Clearly, we can see that $9 an hour and $7 an hour are not the same. So we would say no, and we would say their unit rates are not equal. Clearly, if your friend worked 8 hours, they would have made more money than you did in 8 hours. All right, there's our homework help video. Be sure to check it over, make sure yours match up, and again, be careful about all the different ways that we can check for things to be proportional.